Welcome back across Nevada to Face to Face. It's the first televised debate in the U.S. Senate race. We're going to provide as many of these forums as we can in all of the races, but especially this one, maybe the most important race in the state. We have four of the candidates here today. Sue Loudon was supposed to be here. She said she might come, then she came up with an excuse that is not on her public schedule. But Danny Tarkanian is here now. We appreciate him being here with Mark Amodei, Sharon Angle, and Jon Chachas. I'm going to give you a chance, Mr. Tarkanian. Thanks for coming to answer the same question I asked these folks, which is the Yucca Mountain being killed this week, supposedly. Isn't that the best argument to re-elect Harry Reid?
It's the worst argument, because what he should have done was turn it into a nuclear reprocessing facility, something I've advocated from the first day I got in the race. We could turn Yucca Mountain into a nuclear reprocessing facility, just like they do in other countries like France, who reprocess 95% of the nuclear spent fuel, create thousands of jobs for the people of Nevada, hundreds of millions of dollars of much needed revenue so we can pay for these state projects.
How do you know he's not going to do that?
UNLV and UNR into the leading research institutions
How do you know he's not going to do
in
that
the whole
eventually?
world.
How do you know he's not going to do that?
Well, you just read his comments today in the paper where he's talked about these other alternatives that, again, as Senator Amodei said, he's going to have to start from scratch and build it up. And absent of all those alternatives was the reprocessing angle.
All right, let's move on to something else. I do want to talk about the substance here today and who really is the most substantive candidate, which I think you want to impart to the voters too. Let me show you, Mr. Chachas. You put out probably the most in-depth papers on your website, very lengthy, including one on financial regulation. You did an interview with the Nevada News Bureau a few weeks ago, and let me show you what you said about your substance versus your opponents. None of them have said an original word other than rehashing what the NRSC, that's the National Republican Senatorial Committee, already publishes on this stuff. Do you want to repeat that here about these unoriginal colleagues of yours right here?
Look, the point I was making to the News Bureau is that it seems to me everybody has a duty in this process to actually put out there what they really believe in detail. And frankly, it's a shame that we don't have more opportunities like this to really talk about it, but I haven't seen a lot of people actually put up in print what they really believe in, and I have.
What do you really believe in?
What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk about what you think is the one really original idea you brought to the table in
well,
this race.
the thing that I believe most about fixing our job situation in Nevada is it's not going to be done quickly, and it's going to take some significant planning and time. And I wrote in a piece that was published in the Elko Daily Free Press recently, one of the few tools that Nevada has at its disposal is its land. Mark knows this topic well. The federal government is the steward of 80% of the land, 78% of the land in this state. There is no reason at all that what Nevadans shouldn't get is 10 million acres of federal land back, sell it in a private transaction, pend it with tax advantages for the buyer, and see if we can induce some private investment.
Who besides Jon Chachas has the money to do that these days?
There's lots of capital, John, sitting on the sidelines in this country and not taking risk. And if you actually create some inducement for that capital, what creates jobs is fundamentally investment. The government today is eating so much of the capital in this country. We have job growth in one place, civil servants. If you figure out a way to actually put that land to use, put it for sale, clear it, and sell it, I think you could see some actual real investment in the state, and I think it will pay dividends. It's not going to be quick, but over the long haul, it will generate jobs.
Senator Amodei, let me go to you next. Name one original idea you've brought to the table in this race.
Well, I think protecting our water resources in the state, John, is something that I've spoken about on my website. It's very critical that we maintain control of that within the state, and those decisions aren't made in D.C.
How do you do that, though, specifically? How do you do it?
Well, you have to fight the legislation that's been addressed in the last few Congresses to try to give the Army Corps of Engineers more jurisdiction over our water. When you talk about Yucca Mountain or you talk about growth policies that are very important at both ends of the state, water is a key component in all of that. And the closer those decisions are made to Nevada, as in within Nevada like we are right now, the better off we are.
All right, Sharon Angle, one original idea. What have you brought to the table?
Well, I think the original idea is that we need to begin to deregulate at the federal level so that our states can have their states' rights back with that 10th Amendment. We have got so much regulation going on at the federal level, and we've got taxation going on at the federal level. We have things like the Department of Education, Department of Energy, czars that are being funded by taxpayers. All of that needs to go away, and I think the people are just sick and tired of too much government. That's the original idea that was with the original founders. They said we need a smaller federal government, and that's the original idea that I bring to the table. Let's get smaller, not bigger. And I think we need to start with paying back stimulus, TARP. All of those things need to be paid back, put on the debt. We need to cut back, which means cutting back funding to those things that aren't constitutional. Also, cutting across the board with just the 20% that everybody says is waste, fraud, and abuse, and finally take back our country.
All right, you're going to go on forever if I let you. Danny Tarkanian, I got to let you jump in here. Name one original idea you brought into this race.
I've created our economic plan, which has three original ideas. Three of them that will create jobs for the people of our state without costing the taxpayers $1 additional dollar, no more government intervention. Yucca Mountain was one. I agree with John that we got to get the BLM or the federal government to release land to the state of Nevada, but let the state of Nevada use that land to entice other businesses to move to the state at either a free cost or the purchase of the land. We right now are competing with other states and trying to get these big companies from California to move to Nevada. We have a unique ability with this expensive BLM land, hundreds of acres on Las Vegas Boulevard. Let's use that land to entice the companies, bring in new companies, diversify the economy. The third area of our economic plan is also very unique. It's working with the federal government to work with the states to reduce their sales taxes 50% or more to increase the consumption of products. We can do that without costing the taxpayers any more money by using the unused, ridiculously allocated stimulus money that was going to go to the pork projects and just use that for the state so they can offset the difference in sales tax. If you reduce the sales tax, you create consumption, you create more jobs.
All right, I just want to make clear so people don't confuse this. When you said Yucca Mountain at the beginning, you meant for the reprocessing facility.
Yes,
correct?
I did.
All right, I want
Those are my three proposals.
I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. When we come back, we have to take a break. We're going to find out who the real conservative is in this race. You don't think I can find out? Stick around. I'm going to. Back in a moment.